This is part 2 of my video, obviously. So I'll babble on for another 30 more minutes, and then I'll continue my read along of Lord of the Rings. What part was I on right now? I am on. I'll read the rest of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm on 148. So I'll read the rest of chapter what? Yeah, I'll read a good 10 pages. I don't know, 9.5 pages, and then I'll be done. I'll read 5 pages. I don't feel like reading 10 pages. I'll read 5 pages, and then tomorrow I'll finish chapter. I don't feel like reading 10 pages. 10 pages is too much. I'll read 5 pages today, and then tomorrow I'll be finishing off the Old Forest chapter. I don't feel like reading. I want to spend more time babbling on because it's more interesting when I babble on, right? So I'll read 5 pages today, and tomorrow I'll be finishing off chapter 6, which is the Old Forest. And the next chapter 7, you're moving on into the interesting topic, which is Tom Bombadil. You're looking at a very interesting video for that. And after this video, I'm going to take a shower as usual, go to the store and get a pack of smokes. And I get my last check on September 30th, and I also get my government checks, like $160 government checks. I'm going to enjoy those checks for the final month of October, go over my book, make that Swimming with Sharks video Swimming with Sharks video at the end of the month. And then late October, I'm making that final announcement. So once I make that final announcement, I'm gonna celebrate, obviously, because I now know I'm about to become king. All I have to do is just get this video over with, and I get to be free and be a multi-billionaire, man. Be fucking rich with my wife, obviously. And I get to travel the world. All the things I dreamed of doing in my life, traveling the world and all the time, I never got to do that, obviously, because the door's locked on me. Now when I have money, I get to travel around the world. I also get to fly privately, man. Me and my wife are going to be flying privately. Vijay no longer doesn't have to fly commercial anymore. She now can fly privately with me, obviously. So whenever me and my wife travel around the world, we'll be flying on our private jet, man, which is a nice fucking perk. We get to fly on our private jet. We don't have to worry about flying through commercial, going through that line, waiting for hours in the airport. No, man. Me and my wife will be flying privately to the countries around the world, obviously. So we'll be living life, extreme stuff. So the jet will be used for business and will also be used for our personal stuff too, obviously. Whenever we start Sky Stores, the jet will be used to fly in all the crewmen and the actors. And then once filming's finished, me and my wife will be using the jet to go on our vacation too, obviously. There's a good chance after filming's finished, me and my wife are gonna go on a 3-week vacation. Then once we take our 3-week vacation, we'll be watching the process of post production, obviously. Right. It's a good chance after. Yeah, so once post production is finished, me and my wife can officially go on our vacation. Obviously. Me and my wife can watch post production for a couple months, and then take a 3-week vacation, come back, and then watch the rest of post production, obviously. So even though me and my wife will be watching production, during that time of post-production, while the special effects team are editing, me and my wife can take a good week vacation. That way we take a break, obviously. And we can watch post-production slack. Me and my wife will just be watching. And within the time frame, within those months, me and my wife can go on a couple week vacation around the world, and we'll settle in Vancouver, a nice 100 million condo. And I want the special effects team building to be in Vancouver. That way it's easier for me and my wife. Me and my wife can go home, you know what I'm saying? When we come back, we watch more post-production, obviously. That way it's easier for me and my wife, obviously. And the 7 team will most likely be watching too. They'll be watching production, obviously. And I told you, for the 2 script developers, you have Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, you have J.J. Abrams, you have Rian Johnson, you have other candidates too who are good. You have other candidates who are also good. What? For the script developer position, obviously. It's not guaranteed I'm going to hire Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. I told you, if they are available, there's going to be a huge bidding war in Hollywood with those guys. As Hollywood's going to throw these guys so much money. That's why I'm willing to take out the checkbook and pay them a fat bonus. I'm willing to pay Jon Favreau a nice fat $18 million bonus, which is nice. Worst comes to worst, if Hollywood offers them a lot more money, I could up the amount. I could up it to $20 million. Up it to 19, 20 million. I'm not going to go any higher than 20 million for him. That's good enough. 20 million is 12 million in your bank after taxes, man. So Jon Favreau, I'm willing to pay him that $18 million bonus. If Hollywood ends up throwing him more money, I can up it to $20 million. Dave Filoni, if Hollywood throws him more money, I can up it to like $8 million. $8 million bucks, something like that. $8 million bonus, which is nice. That's $4.8 million in your bank. And you pay them their yearly salary for the 4 years, which is a nice deal, obviously. That's how much money I'm willing to pay guys like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, if they're hired, they're going to be second in command. I'm going to put them second in command. They're going to be my co-executive producers, my co-writers. They're going to be helping me writing all my scripts, and they're also going to be making a shitload of business calls. I don't pay big fat bonus for nothing, obviously. So the Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, if they're hired, they're going to be the boss over the rest of the team, obviously. And if Peter Jackson or Mel Gibson's hired, I'll make them the boss over. I'll make them the boss. So me and my wife are the big boss, obviously, but I'll make Peter Jackson and Mel Gibson if they're hired. I'll make them the boss over the movie project. I'm gonna have them be my executive producers, and I'll have them consult for some of the business with the 17, that kind of stuff. Because as an executive producer just means like you sign the contracts and you consult for business. As the assistant producers do all the dirty work in Hollywood. That's how it works. The executive producers don't do as much work. They just consult. They're the boss. They're the boss producers, but they just consult pretty much. And they make some business calls, but they mainly consult, obviously. So Peter Jackson and Mel Gibson's hired. They're going to be consulting for business, obviously. Because in my opinion, as a director, it's good to have producing power too, right? It's good to have some producing power. And so I'm going to give Peter Jackson or Mel Gibson some producing power if they're hired for my movie, obviously. And you guys know how much of a company my Scotch's company will be. You're looking at a top-notch company, obviously. I'm going to keep saying this for the Swimming with the Sharks topic. Amazon gets a flat 40%, and Scotch's gets a flat 60%. So not only are the actors signing contracts with the movie, me and my wife are also signing contracts with Amazon for our money too, obviously. So me and my wife will be signing the deal for our money, the money that we're going to make. Ivan and Vijay get 60% of the profits. Amazon gets 40% of the profits. You're going to see this on the documentary. 60% of profits, 60% of all profits, 40% of all profits. You're going to see in the deal. You're listening top notch. I can either fly down to Amazon's office or I can fly them to my office. It's easier if they just fly down to my office because it's easier if they just fly down to my office, right? I think I'm just gonna fly this. I'll just fly the CEOs to my office. I think that's easier than me flying all the way over there, right? Yeah, I'll have the Amazon fly down to my office. It's easier, and then we'll be negotiating the deal in my office. That way, it's easier for me and my wife. Obviously, because me and my wife are gonna be so preoccupied working on the script. Well, my wife will be working on the script. My wife will be sitting down at her desk, pretty much chilling. But the first year, me and my wife, there's nothing worse than having to write the script, do the concert, at the same time one day you gotta fly all the way to America. It's easier if I just fly Amazon to my office. As Amazon has time to fly down to my office. I'll fly the CEOs down to my office and we'll negotiate the deal, obviously. So instead of me flying down there, I'll fly them to my office. It's easier. And we'll negotiate the deal, obviously. And the deal is 60-40. Me and my wife get 60% of the profits. Amazon gets 40% of the profits, flat 40% of the profits. And no Hollywood actor it's not just Amazon who are sharks. The Hollywood actor are sharks. No Hollywood actor is getting a piece of the royalties from my movie, man. You're not getting zero, man. Zero. You're not getting a piece of the royalties. I don't care how big you are. You may be a Will Smith, a Dwayne Johnson. Those guys are fucking big, obviously. Those guys are so big that if one of those guys walked in my office, even I would be a bit wowed. Oh my God, that's Will Smith. That's Dwayne Johnson. And that's Chris Hemsworth. I'd be wowed, obviously. Oh my God, that's Keanu Reeves. I'd be wowed, obviously. Because my whole life I grew up watching them, and now they're flying the ring full to my office. Even I'm gonna be a bit wild when those guys walk into my office. Those guys are big fucking actors, obviously. But even then, because they're not God and they're not the main show, they're not worth me and my wife's royalties. Obviously, they're not worth me and my wife's royalties. Obviously, so I'm saying nobody's worth me and my wife's royalties. I'm gonna keep saying that. Nobody's worth me and my wife's royalties. You're not getting a piece of the royalties for the movie, and you're not getting a piece of the royalties for the posters because you're not worth it. Obviously, you're not fucking. Because don't forget, Amazon's taking 40% of the pie. There's nothing worse than them taking 4% of the pie. You give a certain percentage to these actors, instead of making 60%, you make like 58%. No, man, I'm not giving you a piece of the royalties. Obviously, it's only the big A-list actors who are going to try and get a piece of the royalties. Whereas the small A-listers are going to try and get like 20, 25 million, something like that, which they're not going to get. And the rising stars are going to try and get like 10, 9, 11, 12, 13 million. Obviously. So someone like Michael B. Jordan, if he was in my movie, he would try, a guy like him, he would try and get like 17, because he's a small A-lister, he would try and get like 17, 18, 16, $8 million, which I'm not going to pay him that, obviously. Right? Someone like him is worth like 9 million for your movie, 8.5 million for your movie. Because Michael B. Jordan, even though he's a small A-lister, his career is still kind of rising. But he's technically speaking, he's a small A-lister. So someone like him, he's worth like 8.5, 9 million for your movie. Obviously, right? Whereas someone like Daisy Ridley is a rising star. She's worth like 5, 6, 7, 8 million for your movie. Because she's like a rising star. she's like that actor chosen for Star Wars, for Tacitonius. She's pretty much what? She's a rising star like him, obviously. Those guys are worth that 5 to like 8 million range. Because the actor for Tacitonius is doing blood, sweat, and tears, 9 months of blood, sweat, and tears, I'm willing to pay him a nice $8 million. A nice $8 million for the movie, which is fucking nice, obviously. Which is a good, like, what, 6.5. I don't know if he lives in America, but if he lives in America, that's $6.5 million in America, which is a nice fucking paycheck. After taxes and the agent, he'll be walking with like $3.4 million. Depending on where he lives, obviously. Right. And then the B-list actors are going to try and get like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even $10 million, which are not worth it, man. The B-list actors are not worth $10 million for the movie. The moment they ask for $10 million, they're ripping you the fuck off. As no B-list actor, I'm telling you, I'm letting all you Hollywood actors know right now. You guys see the future. You know how much my taxes company is. No B-list actor is getting any more than $4 million. The only actor I would ever pay $4 million is like Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus, the guy from The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead's a big show. A guy like him, he's worth a nice like $4 million for your movie. $4 million for your movie. Even $4.5 million for your movie, he's worth. Obviously. Because there's some actors where you can pay a bit over. Oh shit, my phone. Careful. There's some actors you can pay a bit over $4 million. Pay him like 4.5. A guy like Norman Reedus, whatever his name is, he's worth a nice like $4.5 million for a movie, because even though he's the biggest actor, he did a big hit show. Like The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is a big show, hence why he's worth like $4 million, $4.5 million for your movie, obviously. Right. Like Rick, the actor Rick in Walking Dead, a guy like him is worth like 4.5 million for $3+. They're worth $3+ million for a movie because they were in a big hit show. Whereas if it's a guy from the CW, so if it's a guy like Stephen Amell, Grant Austin, I'm saying those guys who were in Flash, Arrow, those guys, because they're in a CW show and those shows are not as big, they're worth that $2.7 million for your movie, obviously. Which is a nice fucking paycheck for a B-list actor. As in Hollywood, for television shows, they get like $600,000, $700,000, $900,000, $500,000, $350,000, I'm saying. So me paying you $2.5 million, $2.7 million is a nice fucking paycheck. It's still a nice fucking paycheck, obviously. Whereas the A-list actors are the actors who are worth a lot of money because they create a lot of buzz-free movies. Hence why they're worth a lot of money, obviously. Well, I'm gonna have a rule for my movies. I don't want any more than 8 A-listers, and I don't want any less than 6. Obviously. So if I cast 6 actors, I can cast one big guy, and then you can either do a thing where you cast one big actor and you cast 5 smaller ones, or you can cast like 4 smaller ones and like 5 smaller ones and like 3 big guys, obviously. The big guys cost you a lot of money, hence why you have to be careful. Hence why casting, I can't have any more than 3 big A-listers for my movie, because they're really, really going to be affecting my budget like crazy, obviously. Hence why I'm going to have to put a bit more money into the movie. That way I can afford to pay the 3 big A-list actors or their rich salary. But at the same time, you also have to pay the small A-listers. Small A-listers are all going to cost you $9+ million. But most of them are going to make that 11 million range, man. Whereas 12, 13, 14, 15 million is 15.9 million is very rare. Depends who the actor is. The guy has to be pretty big, man. If it's a guy like Ryan Gosling, you know what I'm saying, Shia LaBeouf, those guys are worth that nice like 15.9 million for your movie, because they're big fucking actors. Where if it's a guy who's a bit smaller, you pay him. If it's someone like, I don't know, if it was someone like Elijah Wood, You know what I'm saying? Viggo Mortensen, Lord of the Rings. Those guys are worth that 9, 10 million for your movie. 9, 10. Someone like Elijah Wood's worth like 9 million for your movie. If it's someone like Viggo Mortensen, he's worth like 10.5 million for your movie, obviously. Because you got to balance your budget. So if I have like 5 small A-listers, chances are 3 of them are going to make that 9. I don't know. 2 might make 9, 9.5. 1 might make 10, 10.5. And the other one, if he's really big, you pay him 15 million, 14, 13, 14, 12, 15, $15.9 million, depending on who the guy is, obviously. Because you have to watch for your budget, man. Which is a nice fucking paycheck, because most of them don't even make that in Hollywood. Most small aces get a couple million for a movie. And in the rare case, you have the few what? You have the few bunch who can bargain for 15, 20 million, but that's very rare. Most small aces get like most aces in Hollywood get a couple million for a movie. So me paying you 9 million is a nice fucking paycheck, obviously. And there's nothing worse than paying an actor shitty money, like those actors got Lord of the Rings. Those actors Lord of the Rings got shitty money. They did blood, sweat, and tears, 9 months of work for peanuts. There's nothing worse than paying an actor that kind of money and what? There's nothing worse paying an actor that kind of money and you're fucking doing blood, sweat, and tears. No, man. Pay them their nice millions, grant them their freedom. You spoil them with a nice luxury buffet and a $3,500 gas card. You had them stay in a nice hotel for the table reads, the training, all that stuff. That way they all work hard for you, obviously. And you have them partied up in your condo. They're going to appreciate you more. You part up at your condo, obviously, my nice $100 million rooftop condo. And you what? And you spoil them. Hence, that way they work hard for you, obviously. And none of them are getting a piece of me, Mars Rose. I'm going to keep saying none of them are getting a piece of the royalties, obviously. I was thinking if I should give them a piece of the royalties for the posters. Considering they're going to be featured, I can give them a $2,000 royalty check for the posters if I want to. I can do that. Because they're featured on the posters, you could give them a $2,000 check for the posters. All of them actors, only the actors who are featured, you can give them a piece of the royalties for the posters if you want to. You give them $250,000. So they can get their $250,000 for the release and $250,000 for the posters because they're featured, because of your stars. You can pay them something if you want to. Actually, no, man. They're not worth a piece of your royalties, man. They're not worth it, man. And as in Hollywood, the actors don't even get money for the posters. Hollywood, they get a flat salary and that's it. The only actors who could get a piece are the big, who can bargain for a piece are the bigger A-listers, obviously. But no, man, I'm not going to give the actors a piece of the royalties for the posters. They're not worth it. I'm already paying you your millions. That's good enough. I'm willing to give you a $250,000 reoccurring check for every time I release the movies, which is a nice fucking paycheck. It's a good enough deal, obviously. They're not worth you and your wife's money for the posters. No. I thought of giving them like $250,000, but no, man, they're not worth it. Even though they're going to be featured in the posters, they're not worth it, man. They're not getting a piece of royalties for the posters or the movie, as I'm already paying you a good enough money, obviously. 18 minutes here. And that's why my Sky Source company will be the best brand in the entertainment industry. Now, again, I don't know who I want to cast for Cornelius, Sirius, Eli. Those spots are still open. Those are major characters. I don't know who I want to cast for those. But for those roles, I want them to be B-list actors because they're cheaper. And all those actors, you can pay a nice $3 million. The actor for Mary, I'll pay. I said 2.8. The actor for Mary, I'll pay her $3 million. The actor for Cornelius, Eli, and Job, I'll pay those guys like $3 million. Sorry, not Job. The actor for Job, I'll pay like $6.6 million because the actor Andy Serkis is the actor chosen for Job. But the actor for Cornelius, Sirius, and Eli, those actors I had not chosen. Those actors, I'll have them be B-list actors because they're cheaper. Because the actors are already costing me like $70 million for the $400 million budget. Hence, you gotta watch out for your cat, man. Because the crewmen are already costing me like $230+ million in salaries. Paying everyone $150,000, $200,000 adds up. So as well as your photographers, head chefs, it adds up. Hence, you have to be careful for your budget, obviously. Don't forget, you also have my 7 team. My 7 teams cost me a shitload of money too, obviously. My 7 teams costing me like $50 million. To pay them $2 million every year for 4 years, $1 million every year, it's going to cost like $50 million. 7 people is going to cost like $50 million plus bucks. You got to watch out for your budget. That's why I'm putting a good $400+ million towards salaries, obviously. And once I pay everyone, the whole salary budget will pretty much be drained. There might be a couple million left over, but most of it will be drained, man. Hence why you got to watch out for your cap. You got to always keep track. Hence why I want my accountant giving me every time. Hence why I want my accountant with me when all the actors fly into my nice luxurious office on my private jet, and they sign the contracts, they're free millions, right? They get their free millions of freedom, which is an amazing feeling. Obviously, they sign that contract. I'm gonna have my accountant with me. That way, I know how much money is getting burned. Obviously, because I'm putting $600,000 into a super advanced payment system, where the accountant has this computer. He has this computer, and he also has this portable. This portable. I'll have him have his own computer where he punches in the contracts, and he also has this portable machine. He types in the actors. The actors have to bring in their bank information, all that stuff. The agents have to bring in their bank information. The account punches in the actor's salary, and on a certain day, the money goes straight into his account like a direct deposit. I'm also gonna have a GPS for the payment system. Like every time the actors get paid, you have the tax statements, how much money they've been paid, how much money they're getting paid, and all stuff. The age deductions. You have received $100,000. They get their first paycheck. You have received $100,000 for the term of the movie. You have received $150,000. You have received $1 million. This is something top notch, man. I'm putting $600,000 towards my payment system. $600,000 is high tech, man. As most companies only have like a $10,000 payment system, and most companies that pay their employees direct deposit, they have like a $10,000 like payment system. I'm putting $600K towards a payment system for the entire crew and all the extras. So when the crewman gets his or her check, you have received $4,000, which is a nice paycheck for an average person. They're gonna get $150,000 for the 2 years, which is nice, obviously. And the crewmen are getting a rich salary too, obviously. And that's how top much of a company we ever gonna own, man. When these actors get their first check, they're like, "Holy shit, Skyscraper is top notch." They get this email confirmation because they're gonna get the email confirmation. They click on the confirmation, it shows how much they got paid. You have received $150,000 like a GPS. This is gonna be top notch, man. I'm gonna tell the engineers, look, I want my payment system to have a GPS. And I'll do a thing when the actors are cast. When the script developers select who they want cast, the actors get sent a confirmation. Congratulations, you've been casted. You've been casted for the role of the movie. This is gonna be top notch. Like the actors get this confirmation. Oh my god, I've been casted. You get this GPS. This is gonna be top notch, man. I'm putting $1 million towards my computer equipment for my company, and I'm putting $600K towards my payment system. Hence, the engineers are gonna design something very very high tech. I'm also gonna have a very very high tech payment system for the extras, as I'm not a fan of paying the extras check or cash, as that can easily get lost or stolen. If you're paying 60,000 people, you have a bunch of cash hanging around everywhere, can easily get stolen. You have checks, easily get stolen. Hence why I'm gonna have for the extras. I'm gonna have this thing where they give them this card, and when they scan their card, they get their money. The money gets deposited into their card. You have this this SkySource card. Every time they scan, they get their $180, and they get a confirmation in their email. You have received $180 or something like that. You have received $180. $180 is a nice paycheck for a fucking extra. Because the extras are even gonna work very hard for me. As $180 is a nice paycheck. That's how much people make for a 9 to 5 job, working an average job. $180 is a nice paycheck for an extra, obviously. Because the extras are even going to work hard for me. As I guarantee you, sometimes in Hollywood, some of the extras don't even get paid. I remember I saw one behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings. One of the extras was like, oh my god, like, are we even going to get paid for this? As I guarantee you, sometimes Hollywood doesn't even pay some of the extras because Hollywood's fucking cheap. Whereas me, I'm going to make sure I pay all the extras are $180, obviously. And the extras are going to cost me like $45 million for my movie. Paying 60,000 people $180 for filming for 9 months is going to cost you like $40 million, man. It looks so crazy. Because I'm putting $550 towards the movie, which is more than enough. It's more than enough money going. It's more than enough to pay for all the extras, the costumes. Costumes and weapons are going to cost me tens of millions. The extras are going to cost me like $40 million. You have all the flights. Look at something crazy, man. You might hear some noise. My stepfamilies are in the house, obviously. Yeah, man, that's how much of a company my Skyscraper company will be. Listen to me top notch. 24 minutes here. Obviously, right? Hence why I'm not a fan of paying people check. Because I guarantee you in Hollywood, sometimes the actors get paid check and all that stuff. I guarantee you some actors have even lost some of their checks. I guarantee you some actors he might have even gotten ripped off by some of the producers. Hence why I'm not a fan of paying people check. And there's nothing worse than an actor looking at his payment information, He's like, wait a minute, I'm owed a couple more $1,000. You feel like you got ripped off. Hence why, for my payment system, I'm gonna have something very advanced. When the account punches in the information, every time the actors or crewmen the actor gets paid, they get the information of how much they got paid, how much taxes got deducted. Everything is written from that way. It's easier for my account. How much the agent deductions. That way the actors feel like they don't got ripped off. Obviously, and there's nothing worse than looking at your payment statements, and you, oh my god, like, did they rip me off? That's why you put a lot of money into an advanced payment system. Don't rip your actors off. Make sure you pay them their money, obviously, and make sure they have a statement. Every time they get paid, they have a statement of the agent's deductions, the taxes, and how much money they've been paid so far, how much money they have left to be paid. You don't have to say how much money they have left to be paid, but it's good to have payments, their tax deductions or agent's deductions, agents 5, 10, 50% deductions, as well as how much they got paid. That way they don't got ripped in, they don't feel like they got ripped off. And don't forget that you also have the rates too. So I'm going to tell the actors, look, if you see your payment system, you feel like you got a bit less, don't forget I'm paying you in Canadian. So if you live in America, you're going to have the rates, obviously. The rate difference, the currency rates. So some actors might get mad a little bit about the currency rates. Because I'm paying them an unheard amount of money, they're not going to be mad. Because even with the rates, they're still making millions of dollars. They're still making a shitload of money. And some of them might get a little angry because of the rates. But I told you, I don't want to live in the States. The States is too fucking crowded. I want my company to be a Canadian company, as I don't want to live in the States. Last thing I want to do is move to the States and have to do all these documents. No, man. I'm already a Canadian citizen. I want it to be easy for me. VJ is going to have to do some documents, obviously, but I want to live in Canada, as I want nothing to do with the States. The States is too fucking crowded, as Canada is a better country than the States, in my opinion. And I want to live in Vancouver so bad, and I want SkySource to be a Canadian-based company. The Canadian phone company. This is going to be top-notch. Right? And you feed them well with National Buffet. There's nothing worse than working for 9 months like those Lord of the Rings. I saw the behind the scenes. Those Lord of the Rings actors got not bad food. They got meat, potatoes, and pasta, that kind of stuff. But I told you, there's nothing worse than working for 9 months, getting paid shitty money, doing blood, sweat, and tears, and you also get served pretty shitty food. No. Don't serve them meat, potatoes, and pastas. No. Serve them a nice luxury buffet with hamburger sliders, nice hamburger sliders like cheeseburgers and McDonald's, nice thin crust pizza with garlic sauce, nice crispy breaded fries with your patina option, nice barbecue ribs, nice wings, nice fried rice, nice variety of teriyaki meats, your huge variety of salad bar, macaroni salad, potato salad, coleslaw, vegetarian salad, corn, peas, all kinds of good stuff, man. Serve them a nice lunch. All you can drink soda, like 7-Up, Orange Crush, Coke and like water, and I'm saying all you can drink milkshake. Serve them a nice lunch buffet, a nice breakfast menu, a nice dessert menu. That way, everyone works hard. There's nothing worse than working for 9 months. You're getting shitty money. You're also getting pretty shitty food. No, serve them that way. That way the actors are not stressed out. Pay them their millions, give them their freedom, and also serve them a nice luxury buffet. And if you serve them a nice luxury buffet, they're going to work even double harder for you. If you pay them their millions, give them their freedom, spoil them with a nice luxury buffet, these actors are going to work even double harder for you. Because there's nothing worse than working in the middle of nowhere. You're getting paid shitty money. You also get paid. You also get pretty shitty food. And serve them nice food. That way they all work hard for you. Obviously. And give them a buffet. Don't give them one plate bullshit. No, give them a buffet that everyone's fed well. There's nothing worse than eating one plate and you're so hungry. No, give them a nice luxury buffet. That way everyone's fed well. And buy 2 plates. Everyone should be pretty full. Hence why I'm gonna make sure I don't over order on the food. Because I'm gonna do things. Once everyone's eaten 2 plates, they should be very little leftovers. I don't want to waste food, obviously. Once everyone's eaten their 2 plates, because most people get full after 2 plates. Once everyone's eaten 2 big full plates, they should be full for breakfast, dinner, and dessert. That way there's very little leftovers left. And the very little leftovers, the remaining crew can eat the food, obviously. And worst comes to worst, if there's a lot of, sometimes, because there might be some days where there might be a lot of leftovers left. Worst comes to worst, if there's a lot of leftovers left, I can have the extras eat the food, obviously. Hey, look, I'll tell the extras, look, if there's a lot of leftovers left, on certain days, because there might be some days where there might be a lot of leftovers left. I highly doubt, though, as a crew and actors are going to demolish that menu. But if there's a certain day where there's a lot of leftovers left, I'll have the extras can eat the remaining food. Hey, look, man, all you extras, you guys can eat the remaining leftovers if you want. First comes, first serve. If it's done, it's done, obviously. So worst comes to worst, if there's a day when there's, because there might be some days where there might be a lot of leftovers left, but I highly doubt it, as the crew and actors are going to demolish that menu. But if there is a day when there's quite a few leftovers left, I'll have the extras eat the food. Hey, okay, look, man, if there's a lot of leftovers left, you extras are more than welcome to go and destroy the menu if you want to. That way you don't waste any food, obviously. As very little food will go to waste, as if crewmen and actors are going to demolish that menu, man. You look something crazy, obviously. Hence why you hire the best people. You hire top-notch chefs. You want to get top high-end ribs from the farms, top high-end bacon from the farms, eggs from the farms. You know what I'm saying? Sausage. Everything will be custom made, by the way. I'm not buying some cheap food from the store. No, I'm buying all the food from the farms. And so chefs are also going to have to prep and cook. As I don't pay you $150,000 for nothing. No, I'm going to put you to fucking work. You're going to be prepping and you're going to be cooking. So there's going to be a group of chefs who are going to have to prep and a group of chefs who are going to have to cook, obviously. Right? The head chefs, because they're the boss, so if someone like Eric Chong is hired, Eric Chong will be commanding the kitchen, obviously. So he'll be cooking, helping out with the cooking the food, obviously. But the head chefs never prep the food because they're the boss, obviously. So if Eric Chong will be hired, he'd be commanding all the chefs. Okay, I need you guys to prep this, prep the burgers, prep the beef, prep the sausage, prep the eggs, you know what I'm saying? Prep the, not prep the eggs, prep the sausage, prep all that stuff, right? Prep the fries, prep the wings, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. You have to prep all that, man, which is a lot of work. And I'm going to hire dishwashers to wash all the dishes, obviously. You're looking at a lot of work, obviously. Again, if Eric Chung were hired, there's a good chance I am going to give him a call and hire him. I'm willing to pay him a nice $400,000 for the pretty much the 4 years. Well, he gets his $10,000 bonus for planning the menu. So him and the other two chefs will be planning the menu. A $10,000 check is nice for planning the menu. The second year he doesn't work. All he has to do is just send the hired chefs the schedule of the food they're going to be cooking, and that's it. That way they know. Obviously, he can send them the schedule for when the third year pre-production will start. And in the third year, he'll be cooking food 7 days a week for the crewmen prepping in Switzerland. Pay him a nice $190,000 for that year, which is nice. And then the fourth year, he gets his $200,000. So he's getting $400,000 as a head chef, which is fucking nice. Obviously, that's a bit too generous. Yeah, I'm being very generous. But if you want your company to be professional and top notch, you have to pay the chefs a lot of money. As they're gonna be doing blood, sweat, and tears. Cooking food is a lot of fucking work, man. Cooking food, prepping food is a lot of fucking work. That's why you pay the head chefs $400,000. They're gonna be hard at work cooking food 7 days a week, the third year and the fourth year. A lot of fucking work, man. That's why you pay them a lot of money. And if Eric Chong's hired, he's gonna be living a great life. He's gonna be saved for like 4+ decades. He's gonna be the lucky one. Shema Khan for